Good morning. I am Guruswami K, Head of the Department of Physics, IDSG Government College, Chikmagalur. In this video, I am going to deliver a fourth lecture on electricity and magnetic theory. This chapter comes under the program 2nd BSc Physics, 4th semester, paper 4. The title of the paper is Electricity and Electromagnetic Theory. In this session, I am going to discuss the topics like comparison of Gauss law and Ampere's law, applications of Ampere's circuital law, field due to a straight conductor. So the topic should be discussed in this session. Comparison of Gauss law and Ampere's law, applications of Ampere's circuital law or Ampere's law, field due to a straight current carrying conductor. That is the application of Ampere's law. Okay, that is discussed in this session. Comparison of Gauss law and Ampere's law. In the previous discussion, we discussed about the statement and proof of the Ampere's law or Ampere's circuital law. In the third semester, we discussed about the concept of electrostatics, the chapter. There we come across Gauss law in electrostatics. Now we are going to compare Gauss law in electrostatic with Ampere's law in magnetism. Okay, here both the laws are very fundamental in electricity and electromagnetic theory. These two laws are used in electromagnetic field equations, that those equations are set up or predicted by the scientist Maxwell. It is Maxwell's equations. In Maxwell's equations, these two laws, Gauss law and Ampere's law, are the fundamental laws. So now we are going to compare these two laws. Ampere's law is identical to Gauss law in electrostatic for calculating magnetic flux density. Ampere's law is identical to Gauss law in electrostatics for calculating magnetic flux density. Okay, according to Gauss law, okay, in integral form, the surface integral among the closed path E dot ds is equal to q by epsilon naught. And the surface integral among the closed path E dot ds gives what? The flux of the electric field due to a source, that is what we call charge q, which gives the total flux through any closed surface. Yes, it depends on the source charge q, the source of electric flux or electric flux density. Similarly, the integral form of B dot dl, that is Ampere's law, that is equal to mu naught I, which also gives the same concept, but in the case of magnetic field. That is what we call magnetic flux. The magnetic flux linking with the path or a current carrying coil, current carrying coil, okay, and that is equal to mu naught I. That depends upon the amount of current flowing through the current carrying path or a coil. Gives the magnetic flux density over a closed path. It depends on current in the path. Here the source of magnetic field is current. In the Gauss law, the source of electric field is charge. Okay, like this, both are expressed in integral form. Okay, taking this dot product of the fields over a surface, here a field over a closed path. Okay, that gives the flux, and that flux in the case of electrostatic field, it depends on charge. In the case of magnetostatics or electromagnetism, okay, that depends upon the current I. As in electrostatics, the differential form of Gauss law is a fundamental equation for Maxwell's electromagnetic theory. That is del dot E, or it is also called as div E or divergence of E. Divergence, in short, div. Div E is equal to rho by epsilon naught, where rho is the volume charge density, and epsilon naught is the free space permittivity. Okay. In the case of Ampere's law, similarly, Ampere's law is also expressed as fundamental equations in electromagnetic theory or Maxwell's field equations. So here, if you observe this Ampere's circuital law or Ampere's law, mu naught is again the permeability of the medium for free space. Mu is the permeability, mu naught is the free space permeability of the medium and I is the current. Thereby, the value of this magnetic flux or magnetic flux density is depends on the nature of the medium and also it mainly depends on the strength of the current flowing through the path under consideration. It's current carrying path or say this coil, current carrying coil. Now we are going to discuss when do we apply Ampere's law. The same manner we discussed in electrostatics now. When do we apply Gauss law? There also we should maintain some crucial conditions or symmetrical conditions to apply Gauss law. Gauss law is always true, but it is always not applicable. That concept was discussed in the previous semester. Similar to that, here Ampere's law is always true, but it is not always applicable. Now we are going to discuss when do we apply Ampere's law to evaluate the value of the line integral or say the magnetic flux density. That is how easily we are going to evaluate the line integral among the closed path B dot dl, that is magnetic flux or magnetic flux density associated with the magnetic field or the source of magnetic field. Okay. In order to apply the Ampere's law and to find out the value of that line integral, we should maintain certain crucial conditions before going to apply Ampere's law. Now we are going to discuss what are those conditions. First, like Gauss law, Ampere's law is always true, but it is not always useful or applicable. The usefulness of Ampere's law depends on our ability to evaluate the value of the line integral among the closed path B dot dl. For this, we construct a closed path called the Amperian path near the current distribution, for which the magnitude of field and angle between B and direction of current carrying path have a constant value. Similar to Gauss law and electrostatics, there we are going to construct an imaginary surface around the source of electric field. And that imaginary surface what we call Gaussian surface. Okay. Similar to that, here also we are going to construct an imaginary closed path around the current carrying conductor or a source of current. And that imaginary path is what we call Amperian path. Okay. In that Amperian path, we found that the magnitude of the magnetic field and the angle between the magnetic field or magnetic flux density and direction of current carrying element or a path have constant value. Then only we are going to apply Ampere's law and easily evaluate the value of line integral among the closed path B dot dl. So next one is P is constant for uniform and symmetrical current distribution and theta is constant for symmetrical path. Now to maintain these crucial conditions, okay, what is necessary? B is constant for what? Uniform and symmetrical current distribution. Uniform and symmetrical current distribution, and theta is constant. The angle also decides, okay, this one, the value of magnetic flux density now or B dot dl, the value of line integral among the closed path. Thereby theta is constant for symmetrical path, that is what we call Amperian path. The imaginary path should be constructed around the current carrying conductor. The symmetry is crucial for the application of Ampere's law. So therefore, we apply Ampere's law only when we have to maintain uniform and symmetrical current distribution and symmetrical Amperian path. Okay, we have to maintain symmetrical current distribution and symmetrical Amperian path. These symmetries are crucial, okay, while applying Ampere's law to some standard configurations. Thereby, we are going to evaluate the value of line integral among the closed path easily. Okay, this method is very simple as compared to your conventional this one analysis or methods were discussed in the lower classes, that is PU classes. That is the same discussions were discussed with the help of Laplace's law or Biot-Savart's law, and that approach is somewhat complex but and tedious also. But here this Ampere circuital law, okay, method is very simple and easy to evaluate the value of the line integral among the closed path of B dot dl, that is magnetic flux density or magnetic flux. Okay, and this is accurate one as compared to the previous discussions. Next we are going to discuss applications of Ampere circuit law. The standard current configurations which can be handled by Ampere circuit law or Ampere's law are, few examples are infinite straight wires or infinite current carrying conductor, infinite straight lines or straight wires or current carrying conductors. Okay. Next, second problem is infinite planes, infinite current carrying planes. And third one is infinite solenoids. What are solenoids? What is solenoid? A long, uniform, insulated wire wounded in the form of helix. A long, uniform, insulated wire wounded in the form of helix. That is what we call a solenoid. Okay. It is also discussed in PU classes. Once again, with the help of Ampere's law, we discussed the solenoid case. By applying Ampere's circuit law, we are going to find out the value of magnetic field due to that current carrying solenoid at a given point. That point lies along the axis of a solenoid at its midpoints and at its ends. Next, the last standard configuration is toroid. What is toroid? Toroid is a bent solenoid. Toroid is a bent solenoid. For example, if you take a spiral spring and it bent in the form of a definite shape or a circular closed, circular ring shape, then that is what we call toroid. Okay, these are the standard configurations are handled by using this Ampere's law. Okay, with the help of this Ampere's law, we are easily find outing the value of magnetic flux density or magnetic field strength or the value of the line integral among the closed path V dot dl. Okay, in your syllabus, they prescribed two problems should be discussed. One is straight current carrying conductor or current carrying wire. Another one is a solenoid. We have to discuss these two. For the first one, that is straight current carrying conductor, a short discussion. A small derivation is there to find out that. Okay, it will be asked for 2 marks. Okay, in the examination, 2 marks question. The next one, solenoid case, is a 4 marks question. Okay. Now we are going to discuss field due to a straight conductor. Field due to a straight field means magnetic field. Let's consider a straight conductor carrying a current I in the XY plane. Let's assume the current carrying conductor placed in a XY plane. The magnetic lines are concentric circles around the conductor in XZ plane. The magnetic lines of force or magnetic field lines are continuous closed curves. That is discussed in the previous session and also in the previous semester. The nature of magnetic lines of force and characteristics of magnetic lines of force and IB equal to 0. That concept is discussed in the previous session. So here the magnetic lines are concentric circles or closed curves around the conductor in a XZ plane. Let P be a point at a distance R from the conductor. Let P be a point at a distance R, capital R from the conductor in the XZ plane. Let B be the magnetic field at P. Imagine a closed circular path, that is what we call Amperian path of radius R around the conductor as shown in the figure. That figure is shown in the next slide. Consider a small line element or length element in the path at the point under consideration where we have to find out the magnetic flux density or magnetic field strength. According to Ampere's circuit law, the value of line integral B dot dl is equal to mu naught I. That is, according to the statement of the law, we know that the value of the line integral among the closed path B dot dl is equal to mu naught I, where the line integral of closed path B dot dl is the line integral of the magnetic field B for the closed path. Okay. Now here in this diagram, the figure, we have shown the current carrying conductor carrying a current I. Okay. Around this current carrying conductor, is placed in a which plane? XY plane. XY plane. Okay. These concentric closed curves or magnetic lines of force are drawn in the XZ plane. XZ plane. Current carrying conductor is placed in XY plane, that is parallel to XY plane, and here the lines of force established or produced, the magnetic lines of force, okay, or concentric closed curves around the current carrying conductor or element under consideration should be lie in the xz plane. Let R be the radius of this Amperian path under consideration or imaginary path, closed path under consideration. Let P be a point where we have to find out the magnetic field B. And here we found out, okay, we have to consider a small length element dl along this Amperian path. We have to divide this Amperian path into large segments or pieces, small pieces. And the one such type of piece is what we call segment, is what we call elementary length dl or element of length dl. First we have to define the magnetic flux density among this element. Later on we have to extend this over this complete Amperian path. Complete Amperian path. By integrating that over the limits from 0 to 360, we get, or 0 to 2 pi, we get the total magnetic field at this point due to this current carrying source. That is what we call infinite straight current carrying conductor. And here we found that this magnetic field B is perpendicular to the radial path, that is Amperian path. And here this magnetic field is along the length of the element under consideration, along the length of the element in the Amperian path under consideration. B is along dl and is perpendicular to R, that is the line joining the point P and the current source of the current, that is current carrying conductor. So now by applying Ampere's circuital or Ampere's law, we have the value of line integral B dot dl is equal to line integral among the closed path B dl cos theta, and that is equal to mu naught I. B dl cos theta, that is equal to mu naught I. B dot dl, the dot product of any two vectors. A dot B is equal to AB cos theta. By using that, if we expand this, we get this value of line integral among the closed path B dl cos theta is equal to mu naught I. Again here theta is the angle between the magnetic field B and the line element or length element, that is dl na. So due to circular symmetry, the magnitude of magnetic field B is constant along the circular path and direction of the field is tangential to the circular path at all points in the path. That is explained just now. Okay. Now by applying this, here we found that the magnetic field is constant. The magnetic field is constant along this length element and theta is equal to 0 because B is along the length element. If theta is equal to 0, cos 0 is equal to 1, then value of line integral B dl remains. Again B is constant, take outside the integral. What will remain? dl only. Then here line integral among the closed path B dl cos theta, that is equal to B into the line integral among the closed path dl, that is equal to mu naught I. Since theta equal to 0, cos theta is equal to 1. So the value of line integral among the closed path dl is equal to, if you extend this okay, for the entire Amperian path, that gives what? Circumference of the circular path, that is equal to 2 pi r. Circumference of the circular path. It gives the total length of the Amperian path. So if we integrate this for all the length of the element, here the path under consideration, then that value should be is equal to 2 pi r. Substitute this value of integral here, then B into 2 pi r is equal to mu naught I. We solve for the magnetic flux density or magnetic field, then B is equal to mu naught I by 2 pi r. Okay, like this, we are going to find out the value of magnetic field B at a point due to a straight current carrying conductor, infinite straight current carrying conductor. The value of magnetic field should be is equal to mu naught I by 2 pi r. Like this, we can easily evaluate the value of line integral. Also, we have to find out the magnetic flux density or magnetic field strength with the help of Ampere's law or Ampere's circuital law. Okay. Once again, I am going to repeat what are the topics covered in this session, starting with the first slide. Okay. Here in this session, we discussed about comparison of Gauss law and Ampere's law. There will be a 2 marks question on this concept in the examination, important one. Next, when do we apply Ampere's law? If they ask again a 2 marks question, when do we apply Ampere's law? Okay, this is a 2 marks question. We should have to answer like this with these points. Next one is applications of ampere circuit, that is field duty as straight current carrying conductor or straight conductor, or they may ask infinite straight current carrying conductor also, the same discussion. Okay, this also carries 2 marks. There is a 2 marks question. Okay, these questions are appeared in the previous examinations. Okay, with this I am going to finish the lecture of this session, the 4th session. Thank you all.